Good evening, everyone. We'll call our meeting, November 19th meeting of the Board of County Commissioners to order. And our invocation will be led this evening by Commissioner Barbara Harrison.
Thank you. Please bow your heads while I pray. Dear Lord, we come to you this evening asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. We meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, and to represent all members of our community fairly. Help us to engage in meaningful dialogue and make the right decisions for our community. Lord, please bless and keep safe all of those who wear the uniform, who serve our cities, county, and nation, and our freedom. Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is to take the opportunity to recognize some folks, and this evening we have a very special recognition. You know, we had a little bit of an unusual occurrence several months back when Commissioner Lance Simpson resigned to accept employment in another county, so he had to resign from the Board of County Commissioners. We had a very special young lady step up to the plate, Ms. Barbara Harrison, and has done an outstanding job sitting in and serving the board and the citizens of Union County. So this will be her last meeting this evening, and we certainly want to take this opportunity to recognize Barbara. Thank you so much, and we have a little gift for you.
Okay.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
I'm not opening it. I'm afraid. Thank you.
We also take the opportunity to recognize those county employees who have obtained some tenure with the organization. And so we'll do that at this time. Our first will be our 5-year recipients. We have Chelsea Bolton with Emergency Services, Christopher Blunt with Public Works, Franklin Evans, Jackson Hunt, and Ronald Montecalvo with the Sheriff's Office. Also John Plowman and Ronnie Watkins with the Sheriff's Office. Socialyn Murphy Holder with Human Services, and Nicole Bonin with the Tax Administration. With 10 years of service, we have Eva Robinson and Cynthia Spratt with Human Services, and Ricky Morrison in Community Services. With 15 years service, Patricia Aeneas with Human Services, and then we had three folks retire from the county. Madeline Castro with Human Services, 17 years employment. Tania Craig with Human Services, 28 years employment. And Timothy Turner in the Sheriff's Office with 20 years. So congratulations to all those employees, and we thank you for your service. One other item that we did not have an opportunity to add to the agenda is a special recognition. We have learned just recently that today is Commissioner Agnes's birthday. Tomorrow. I would just say that the last time we had one of these, I led the group in singing happy birthday. I was informed by law enforcement and Frank Agnes that if I ever did that again, that I would have to pay for it severely. So Frank, we'll let you off easy tonight, and we'll just say happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Our next item is a public hearing for Wingate University bond issuance. Michelle, do you want to make any comment? regard to that?
Yes,
Lead us
yes.
into it.
Chairman Simpson, this is a public hearing for Wingate University bond issuance that is put here to satisfy the Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act public hearing requirement. This is done to satisfy the requirements of Section 147F of the Internal Revenue Code. And so right now, we would be holding a public hearing. I'm not sure if anyone has signed up to speak, but that is what we would do at this time.
Yes, we will, at this time, open the public hearing for the bond issuance. We have no one signed up to speak, so at this time, we will close the public hearing. That takes us to item 6, public hearing, confidential company, Project Crestone.
And Mr. Platay is here for this item.
Chairman Simpson, Commissioners, Manager Lancaster, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to present this to you. It is my pleasure again to bring before you tonight an Economic Development Incentive Grant request by UTC Aerospace Systems, otherwise known as UTAS, and referred to in our packet as Project Crestone. UTAS has been in Union County since 2004. Currently, they are located in the corporate limits of the City of Monroe in the Monroe Corporate Center and have 175 full-time employees. The company's operation here is a maintenance, repair, and overhaul, or MRO, facility serving aerospace clientele in North and South America as well as Europe. The company is considering a $26 million investment in their expansion of their facility here in Monroe. The project could include the installation of new equipment and the construction of approximately 30,000 additional office square footage expansion of the building. The construction, if incentives were approved, would start sometime by the end of this year or beginning of 2019. There would be a minimum of 5 new jobs created, up to potentially 45 new jobs, with paying over $21 per hour. The company has indicated that incentives are a very important part of their due diligence and their decision to move forward with this project. The project is in competition with other corporation locations throughout their global footprint. Tonight we are requesting for you to consider a Step 3 Economic Development Incentive Grant in the amount not to exceed $676,000 to be paid over a 5-year period beginning in fiscal year 2022. And that is based upon the Union County's Tax Office appraised value each year on the company's anticipated investment of $26 million. Based on the investment and holding all factors constant, including depreciation, the company would pay an estimated ad valorem tax on this new taxable investment of $950,170 over that same grant period. The actual tax revenue to the county will be based on the current tax rate applied to the assessed value of each investment, or of this investment in each year after depreciation. So looking at this, the project has a cost-benefit analysis of 2.0 to 1 for the first 5 years, or that grant period of the project. So for every dollar invested in this project, the county would receive $2 back. After that grant period is over, for every dollar they would receive $3.86, or a 3.86 to 1 ratio on the cost benefit. When presented, we presented this project to the Monroe Union County Economic Development Board of Advisors on their meeting on November 13th, and it was unanimously recommended that we bring this project to you for consideration. We also took this project to the Monroe City Council at a special meeting earlier this evening, where a similar economic development grant was awarded. Therefore, the Monroe Union County Economic Development Board of Advisors and staff recommend the award of a Step 3 performance-based incentive grant to UTAS in the amount not to exceed $676,000 over a 5-year period in order to help secure this $26 million expansion. At this time, I'd also like to recognize Mr. Darrell DeCesar of UTAS. He's here if you have any questions about the project. Thank you.
Questions from the board? No questions. At this time, we will open the public hearing, and we have no one signed up to speak, so we will close the public hearing. Takes us to informal comments. We have 2 individuals signed up to speak. First of those being Steve Mayer.
Chairman Simpson, Commissioners, Manager Lancaster. I'm the mayor of Waxhaw. Later this evening, you'll be deliberating on the Blythe Creek Grinder Pump Elimination Project. Since your discussion on this at your last meeting, I've received several phone calls. Some confuse me, some raise concerns. I'm here to clarify Waxhaw's perspective. As a town and as a body, we try to operate from a Waxhaw position. And that Waxhaw position on this project has been very consistent and has not changed. We have a need, and Waxhaw has been working with the county staff on this project long before our respective boards were even seated. That's the nature of infrastructure. Specifically, we need, and here specifically at sewer, infrastructure solutions. This one has been known since back in the early 2000s as this growth was committed to by both Waxhaw and the county. This particular solution, and really all the solutions, have been based and hopefully will continue to be based upon our mutual comprehensive planning efforts and their resulting master plans. On this particular item, which impacts downtown and the east side, town and county staff have been working on the issues and solutions dating back to 2011. The county strategies have been discussed and have been solutioned. This was done at a technical solution and staff level, and certainly in Waxhaw, not at a political level. We have and will continue to express the needs of Waxhaw, yet in no way should or will Waxhaw weigh in on county technical and financial implementation tactics unless requested at the technical level. This is not within our authority, and in this case, sewer, not within our expertise. Waxhaw believes the best sources for possible tactical approaches here are the subject matter experts within the county. This project is important to our downtown and our east side. Our hope is that the county can reach consensus quickly on how and when to best proceed on this important project. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Dan Barry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and Board Manager. I'm here on behalf of the Republican Party of Union County, which I serve as chairman. I was unaware until I got here that tonight was going to be Barbara's last night on the council and on the county commission. I'd like to echo your comments. Barbara, you've been a great servant to the community. Thank you for your willingness to step up with Commissioner Simpson's resignation. It left all of us in a lurch. You've served admirably. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Next is our additions, deletions, and adoption of the agenda. I have 2 or 3 housekeeping items here. The first would be a letter to the town of Marshall regarding our issue over sewer. We'll make that item number 24 under consent. We have an item regarding additional compensation for interim county manager Michelle Lancaster, acting county manager. Apologies. We'll make that item 25 under consent. Item 25, the Antioch Church project. It's my understanding that the individuals for that project have asked that item, have withdrawn and asked to remove that item. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So we will remove that item from the agenda. And then item 10, in consent, we'll pull out and make item 24A under old business for discussion.
Should we also put item 8 in that? There's 2 items that deal with those pump station regulations.
Certainly won't hurt anything. We'll make item 8 24A, and we'll make item 10 24B. How's that? Commissioner
Yes.
Helms.
Could I ask that item 21 be pulled and addressed next week for time for further evaluation of material we received today?
Hearing no others, do we have a motion to accept the agenda as amended? And yes, agenda as amended. Yep. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And a motion to approve consent as amended. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that takes us to Old business, consideration of step 3 economic development incentive grant.
Yes, Commissioners, this is the item that we just had the public hearing on. I think if there's any further questions, Mr. Platte is here to answer those. Otherwise, we are ready for board action on that item.
Mr. Akins.
Make a motion that we approve step 3 economic development incentive grant in amount not to exceed $676,000 over a 5-year period, beginning in fiscal year 2022 for confidential company Project Crestone, and authorize county manager to approve an incentive grant agreement with said company in an amount not to exceed $676,000 pending legal review.
We have a motion discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of this motion say aye. Aye. Thank you, Mr. Platte, and thank you, sir, for your commitment and contribution to Union County. (24A) is item 8. Michelle?
I'll actually take 8 and 10 together, if that's okay
Sure.
with the board, as they're related to one another. Blythe Creek Grinder Pump Eliminations Project. You'll recall that this item was on your last agenda and was deferred until tonight based on board members who were seeking clarification and had other questions about the bid award specifically. So this particular project is the Blythe Creek Grinder Pump Elimination Project that was identified in our 2011 Comprehensive Water and Wastewater Master Plan, and funding allocations were included in the current approved capital improvement program. This includes installation of approximately 17,000 feet of gravity interceptor sewers and collection sewers to eliminate 17 grinder pump stations serving the Waxhaw and Wasaki neighborhoods north and south of Highway 75. We have spent some time, staff did, with several commissioners answering questions. Aubrey Lawson is here from Public Works. We also have Cheryl Wright here from Procurement if there are procurement questions. The bids for this project were open on October 16th and are valid for 60 days. I know there have been some questions about how long we have for the board to take action, so we have until approximately the middle of December for the bids to be awarded, and staff is here to answer any questions that you might have tonight.
Commissioner Rushing.
Thank you. And Aubrey, could you come up? And I want to thank you and Scott for your time today. It was very valuable to understanding this program a little bit better. As we discussed it, how many homes on, I believe, what are the numbers that you remember from the conversation of how many homes that would be facilitated by taking the grinder pumps off of the northern section of that, though? And I can't remember Wasaki and the other, I can't remember those names of it. So the northern section of 75, how many homes was that was going to facilitate?
It's approximately 75 or 80.
75 to 80 homes. And then the southern portion, the gravity line that goes down, takes off the 3 other grinder pumps. How many homes was that, roughly?
I don't think we added those up, but it'd probably be a similar number, maybe a little bit fewer.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was guessing high, I think 200. And at $200 and I think it was like 6.5 million, is that the?
6.189, I believe.
6.189. I know that at 200, if it were 200, and it would be around $32,000, something in that neighborhood per home. Is there any way, and this may be a question more for Jeff, when we include that, so if we have 150 to 200 sewer connections created by this $6.1 million, is there any way of regulating that to being commercial only or residential? Can we, as a body, reserve that capacity for commercial?
Commissioner, that may be a question you prefer to have in closed session. I can answer part of that question, but not in its entirety, I don't believe. Okay. Generally, if you have a capacity, you're limited in how you control that to commercial or any other, first come, first serve.
And that's, I guess that's the concerns, that I would have still with this project, is that after talking today at 4 and getting that information, that if basically one subdivision medium-sized subdivision could take up all this capacity, and we'd be right back needing capacity in town again. And I understand that the town of Waxhaw, the folks that have approached me are concerned about the commercial development, and commercial for downtown is what we hear, and this is important for commercial for downtown. But at that many houses, 150 to 200 houses, or hookups, let's just call them hookups, that we protect that in some way in the order that it's used for what we've asked for is, and what our county goal is to get some more commercial there. Again, one subdivision of homes could take up the capacity created, and we'd be right back to starting over again, trying to spend another several $1 million to connect another section. And this, I understand that this is a piece of the puzzle. There's a puzzle that's being put together here. And again, they just get to be very expensive pieces without a clear vision of what's going to happen with that. So I would make the motion that we delay this another week until we can get that information from Jeff. And I understand that the middle of another 2 weeks, I understand that the middle of December is when we have to have that bid accepted by, I'm thinking the date's December 16th, which our next meeting is December 17th. Yes, so we would need to do this on the first meeting in December, but possibly set up a closed session that we can hear that information about the ability to reserve those 150 to 200 spots for certain types of development. So the motion would be to delay into our first meeting in December, where we could get closed session information on reserving capacity.
Okay, we have a motion. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Motion fails. I will move that we accept the scope of services as shown in the attached task order 2017-1 with McKim & Creed in the amount of $613,000, and authorize the county manager to execute the agreement upon legal review. Be item 8. Any discussion? Commissioner Rushing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be voting against this just because of the fact of, so few hookups for so much money. Doesn't really, make a lot of sense unless we're protecting for commercial. I understand the need to move along, and I understand the desire to move along. And by this is no way, Mayor Marr's indication of what you guys are doing in the town. But when it's first come, first served, you won't even have any control of who comes in and puts the bill in first. So the first 150 folks will get a $6.1 million gift.
Mr. Helms.
Yes, I was one of the ones that asked for delay in the past to find out some information. Audrey, you and Scott did an excellent job of presenting and helping me understand the network as it lays, and I appreciate that. And then the other thing was the condemnation processes. That was explained to us this evening as well, and from that standpoint, I can support it. I did agree with Stoney that wouldn't hurt to delay it to get additional information for you, but I will support this motion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Also move we accept the low bidder, authorize the award of the construction contract to Dellinger Incorporated in the amount of $6,189,018.15, and authorize the county manager to approve the construction agreement upon legal review and adopt resolution providing notice of the Blythe Creek grinder pump eliminations construction. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
I believe that takes us to new business. I don't believe there is any, so that takes us to county manager's comments.
Yes, and I am going to have some comments. Thank you. I would like to take just the opportunity to recognize our clerk, Lynn West, and deputy clerk, Misty Hughes, for the planning work that went into our employee appreciation lunch yesterday. That was the the brainchild of Commissioner Harrison and well received by our staff who worked during Hurricane Florence. Lynn and Misty really went above and beyond, I think, the call of duty and received lots of donations of prizes and put together the food, and we entertained about 200 employees, and it was incredibly well put together, and I just want to thank Lynn and Misty publicly for that work.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Hills.
Yes, I agree. That was a very special event. Our employees seemed to enjoy it, and I want to thank Barbara for pushing it. It was her idea. I told her the only thing I had against it was I didn't think of it. So she did great, and Misty and Lynn did an awesome job of pulling it off. It was a great event, and I said there that I hope to have more of these, and they said, not just for hurricanes, please, you know. So, and I also want to say it has been my esteemed pleasure to have the opportunity to work with Barbara. She has been a real asset to this board. She has brought change to the county. She has worked diligently. I don't think, you know, sometimes our packets are 300 pages. If you want to know what's on what page, you call Barbara and ask her. She's done her homework. So I think the county does owe an indebtedness to Barbara for stepping up on short notice, and she's done a marvelous job. And I just want to express my appreciation.
Thank you.
Mr. Rushing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to thank you, Barbara. You've done a great job. You've been fun to sit beside. I've enjoyed our time together. I got to know you better through this, and I really appreciate that. And thank you to you and your husband Pat for giving you this time and giving up your time to do this. I'd also like to thank the Marshall Town Council. We've been in legal action with them, and they have made great strides last week to settle some issues with us, and hopefully that'll be a great partnership there, and we can move forward in that too. And congratulations to our new Congressman Mark Harris. I got an opportunity to ride with him in the Monroe parades. Wonderful parade, absolutely wonderful job done by the folks there. Organized chaos, and it was a very good job that they had there, and they had a lot of folks in the parade. It was really wonderful. But I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you next month.
Mr. Agnes.
Yes, I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and Commissioner Harrison, we appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Commissioner Harrison, you have the last word.
Thank you. First of all, I want to echo what Michelle said about Lynn and Misty. When I met them, they handed me a presentation, and, you know, I said, well, you know, can we get some McDonald's coupons? And they turn around and they blew me away. And the entire thing was just phenomenal. I thank all the executive staff for coming. I think we had a really good time, and I hope you can continue doing something like that. I want to thank my colleagues for all your guidance, and sometimes telephone calls after I voted a different way. I appreciate that. And I want to thank the staff for, you know, for every nuance that I asked, you answered me without rolling your eyes. So I really appreciate that. Who knows what is in store for me in the future, but maybe I'll come in and heckle you a couple of times, just, you know, Blythe isn't over yet. And I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Happy Thanksgiving to all, and motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.